And to let you know about SU's Student Film Festival.
Welcome to SUTV News. I'm Matthew House.
And I'm Jenna Chapman.
Years of hard work have led to the annual Senior Bachelor Fine Arts exhibit at SUMA. The exhibit is comprised of individual displays by each graduating BFA student. The displays showcase a wide range of mediums and styles. Some of the exhibits include ceramics by Lizzie Edwards, skateboards by Kesley Huntington, and a cupcake shop by Jessica Jones. As always, SUMA is free and open Tuesday through Saturday. The exhibit is set to close May 5th.
Last Friday, SU held a soccer tournament with a twist. All the players had to play in Zorb balls. Teams were created on site and students played several rounds of games through the afternoon. Players and spectators alike were rewarded with popsicles, courtesy of the Student Programming Board.
This afternoon, members of the Atheist, Agnostic, and Non-Religious Community Club hosted an open brunch on campus. The brunch was a chance for non-religious and religious students alike to come and get to know one another. Attendants ate food and introduced themselves and their beliefs.
Really anyone is welcome. We've had religious people stop by, non-religious. And kind of what the club does is we're a social organization. We're looking to do some charity work. We do discussions and we talk about all sorts of things from religion to, just everyday life.
Students interested in joining the club can sign up on T-Bird Connection and receive future event notices.
If you are an SUU student who always wanted to attend a festival of colors, tonight's your chance. The Student Programming Board is hosting a color throw this evening at 6 p.m. at Thunderbird Park. The event is themed around the Color Festival of Holi, commonly celebrated in India and Nepal. Students who come will be given bags of chalk which they can throw in the air while dancing to live music from DJ Sora. Attendants should not wear nice clothes and bring cloth to protect their face from the chalk. Thunderbird Park is located south of the soccer fields.
SU is bringing back a student-led film festival this year. Our reporter Ansley Mikesell has more with Gavin Feller.
Thank you guys. I'm Ansley Mikesell. SUU students and faculty members from the comm department came together and have decided to create a student film festival. So I'm here with one of the professors of communications, Gavin Feller. Gavin, tell me about how this event came to be.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I shouldn't be the one here. I should actually have Amanda Walton here. She's the one who basically decided to launch the film festival, or relaunch. So we're using the word relaunch or resurrect because it's something that happened for a few years ago, but got discontinued for some unknown reason. And most current students didn't know about it or didn't have any idea. And we really wanted to highlight student film work here on campus.
Great. So have you gotten a lot of submissions so far?
Yes, I don't know the exact number, but we do have, I know we have probably half a dozen so far.
Oh, good. That's really good. Why do you think it's important for students to participate in this?
Well, it's a cool opportunity to show people what you're doing. If you make a film, if you make a video, you're proud of it. Maybe you're not incredibly proud of it, but you want other people to see it. So there are a lot of students that are aspiring filmmakers, and they don't always get an audience for their films and their videos. So we want to give people an audience, and we also really want people to support people. So we want to help people who are interested in film on campus to see we're interested in your films too, and there are other people you can connect with. There's an opportunity to show people what you're working on and make a name for yourself in the future.
It's really cool. And there are several, so as I understand it, there are several categories that students can kind of submit to in terms of short films. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so there are, I believe, 4 categories. There's an iPhone, so if you have no camera equipment or don't have access to anything, you just want to shoot on your phone, you can shoot on your iPhone, submit that. There's also a music video submission, so a lot of people like to make music videos. If you want to make a music video, you can submit that as well. And we're not going to be too strict on the copyright for now. This is an educational,
Nice.
it's an educational setting, so we'll put it under fair use.
Right.
And then there's also short film nonfiction, and then short film fiction. So those are the major categories. So it pretty much covers your bases. If you're a real filmmaker and you want to do a fiction film or nonfiction, you can. If you just see yourself as more an amateur aspiring and you want to do something on your phone, you can do that, or just do a music video for fun. So we tried to design it so it's open to everybody.
That is wonderful. And as I understand it, you and some students also entered into a film competition just a little bit ago. What was that about?
Yeah, so it's also a student-led project. So again, I shouldn't be the one talking about it, but we had students who were talking, well, students that really wanted to do this 48-hour film festival in Kanab. It's called Little Hollywood Shootout. And so Kanab hosts this festival where people come from out of town and they shoot films, and they have to do it in 48 hours, so 2 days. So we did that, and it was a ton of fun and a huge learning experience. And the film is done, and it all happened in 2 days. So.
Well, congratulations. Thank you
Thanks.
for being here.
Thank you.
All students who are interested in submitting for the film festival can submit at a website that's tbirdfilm.wordpress.com. And then you can submit, and the event is next week, next Friday, and we'll keep you updated with that to come. This is SUTVNews, and we will be back with you after this.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one. It's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes in your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
A Cedar City man is still missing after 2 weeks. Johnny Dale Rollins was last seen on March 27th just west of the Cedar City Hospital. According to Cedar City Police, Rollins left his house to go for a walk and hasn't been seen since. Police also say Rollins has a history of strokes and may be suffering from dementia. He is 63 years old, white, 170 pounds, with blue eyes and gray hair. They believe he was wearing a black jacket, dark pants, and brown boots at the time of his disappearance. If anyone has information regarding Rollins, they are asked to contact either the Iron County Sheriff's Department or the Cedar City Police Department.
Mark Zuckerberg is testifying in front of Congress today. Zuckerberg is answering questions surrounding the recent discovery that at least 87 million Facebook users' data was accessed by British consulting firm Cambridge Analytica. There are 2 committees and at least 43 senators set to question Zuckerberg, who is still the CEO and principal shareholder of the company he founded 14 years ago. The questions are expected to address both the Cambridge Analytica data breach as well as Russian interference in the 2016 election using Facebook ads.
The FBI raided the office of President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, on Monday morning. Cohen's attorney, Stephen Ryan, says agents seized privileged communications between Cohen and his clients. Ryan also said the raid stemmed partially from a referral by the Office of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Cohen admitted to paying $130,000 to porn star Stormy Daniels. She claims her and Trump had an affair in 2006 and the money was to keep her quiet. Trump denies the affair and says he knew nothing about the payment.
And it's a disgrace. It's frankly a real disgrace. It's an attack on our country in a true sense.
According According to sources, the FBI also seized emails, tax documents, and business records, including communications between Trump and Cohen.
Construction on the U.S.-Mexico border wall began this last week. Much of President Trump's campaign focused on his plan to build a wall between Mexico and the U.S., declaring that Mexico will pay for it. The wall is going up, but it's Americans that will be footing the bill. The wall is expected to cost $74 million in taxpayer money. From road barriers to a bollard wall, Santa Teresa is looking at a lot of changes right now.
This project is underway. This is the beginning in this sector of the President's border wall, very much so, yes. Time is now. The numbers are going back up. It's a logical step for us to take, and it's time for us to take it.
President Trump's high-stake trade war with China is causing Iowa's soy and pork farmers concern. Earlier this week, China announced that they are putting $50 billion worth of tariffs on U.S. goods. This is in response to Trump's announcement last week that he was considering imposing tariffs on Chinese goods because of what Trump calls China's unfair trade practices. China's tariffs target the United States heartland, including soybean and pork farmers, and mainly imported to China.
60 U.S. diplomats are back in the United States after being expelled from Russia last week. The expulsions were a direct response to the United States expelling 60 Russian diplomats 2 weeks ago. President Trump also closed the Russian consulate, and the Russians reciprocated by closing the U.S. consulate in St. Petersburg. The original expulsions were prompted by the poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter in the UK in March. The father and daughter are both in stable condition after spending nearly 3 weeks in comas.
Coming up, I'll let you know what to expect for this week's forecast. Don't go away.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Welcome to your Cedar City Weather Report. I'm Fernando Lopez. Your current weather here in Cedar City is 71 degrees with a low of 48 for today, 14-mile-an-hour winds, and the sunset should be coming around at about 8:03 tonight, so be on the lookout for that. More local weathers from around the state: 62 in Logan, 67 in Salt Lake City, 72 in Richfield, as well as in Moab, and 84 in St. George. Weekly weather for Cedar City: tomorrow, Wednesday, will be 74 for your high and 46 for your low, and very windy. For Thursday, you'll have a high of 50 and a low of 21 with expected rain. Friday, a high of 47, a low of 23, also a very windy day. And for Saturday, you'll have a high of 60 and a low of 33. However, it'll be sunny weather. Same for Sunday, sunny with a 67 high and a 43 low. That's your Cedar City weather. Hey Colton, what's next in sports?
Coming up on SUTV Sports, we'll take a look at SU's gymnastics season recap and SU's Pro Day. Stay tuned for
let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
On average, I spend 8 hours a week on the road. It's important to me to make the right choices when I drive. And she's the reason why I support MAD.
Colton Warren. 2018 Flippin' Birds gymnastics season came to a close on Saturday evening at the John M. Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City, as Southern Utah scored a 194.625 in NCAA regional competition. Overall, the University of Utah and the University of California at Berkeley were the two teams to advance on from NCAA regional competition and will move on to compete at the NCAA National Championships. SUU overall had 3 wins and 4 losses over the course of this season. SUU softball this season so far is 6-27 overall, but in conference, SUU is 3-6. They haven't quite found their rhythm just yet and are continuing to press on, playing the University of Utah today at 5 p.m. and the University of Montana this Friday with back-to-back games at 1 and 3:30 and Saturday here at the SUU softball fields at 1 p.m. The NFL Pro Day found itself the NFL Pro Day found itself down in southern Utah. This is what I covered at the event. The SUU Dixie Pro Day took place on March 29th, 2018 in St. George, Utah at Desert Hills High School. The football players all joined along doing rigorous exercise activities to show off to the NFL scouts what they could do. Mike Needham had this to say about the process so far and a couple words of advice.
Just to be here, to have as many scouts as we do, it's pretty cool just for Southern Utah to acquire this many scouts and just trying to do the best we can. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all the hard work they've put in, and it's fun just to see their results and the smiles on their faces. I'd say just give it all you got. If you have a good year, have a better year in the next year, and just keep improving.
The workouts included bench press, standing high jump, standing long jump, 40-yard dash, and etc. Many people showed up for the event, including family, past coaches, and past players, one of them being James Cowser, who now plays for the Oakland Raiders. This is what he had to say about watching his teammates go through this experience, his pro day experience, and the NFL, and a few words of wisdom to the upcoming SUU athletes.
It's super fun, you know what I mean? It was something I got to do. I had a lot of good memories doing pro day, and so it's fun seeing my close friends who worked with me when I was doing it get their opportunity now too. Shoot, I mean, don't think SUU is going to hold you back. I mean, you can get there from here. Just work hard. You just got to put your whole heart into it, and no matter what you do, even if it's not football, you know what I mean, just give it your all, and great things can happen. You know, it's interesting, like being in the NFL, people are like, how does it feel? Does it feel great? I still feel like I'm fighting for my life out there, you know what I mean? I still feel like there's so much more out there for me, and so I guess there's like, it's cool, it's fun, and I'm very appreciative and grateful for where I'm at, but I still feel like I'm fighting for so much more, so it's hard to super enjoy it when you feel like there's so much more out there for you.
Scouts coming from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Oakland Raiders, New York Giants, and San Francisco 49ers were all present and watching each player closely to see what they could bring to each individual team. Each player was weighed and measured head to toe and arm span. tested to the limits, and trying to earn a spot on an NFL pro team. I'm Colton Warren, reporting for SUTV Sports.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
They made it sound like such a good deal. They said, sell us your house, rent it from us, then buy it back over time.
They said they'd even fill out all of the paperwork for us.
They said they'd stop foreclosure no matter what. Guaranteed.
So we did what they urged us to do.
And we lost our house. We're getting tossed out.
Got scammed.
Professional mortgage scammers can be so convincing. They can cost you money. They can cost you your home. Mortgage fraud. The pros have lots of cons.
Don't be a victim. Protect yourself. Do your homework.
With the end of the semester quickly approaching, SUU students are taking over the library and study halls in preparation for finals week.
April has arrived, and with it the final projects and exams to Southern Utah University. This has qualified many students as the most stressful month of the year. The affluence to the library has raised a lot since 2 weeks ago, as Christopher Park told us.
Yeah, usually April's a pretty busy month generally for the library, so we get a lot of students coming in that are kind of working heavily on their research paper.
However, not everything are bad news for Tubers. Good weather and sun have come back to Southern Utah. Also, many activities as floatable soccer and photograph expositions on the library have been held by the university in order to relieve the stress. This has been Guillermo Garcia for SUTV News.
Dancing with the Stars was last week, and our reporter Colton Warren kept up with the dancers while they learned the dances and prepared for the event.
Dancing with the Stars was premiered at the America First Event Center on Wednesday, March 21st. There were overall 5 competitors that were ready to win the Dancing with the Stars title. Casey Bounds, that works for Motorpool with his partner Emily Burton, explains the hardest steps of the learning process.
I think for me, trying to coordinate all the steps and that and keep the count and remember what foot I lead with and what each foot is doing, I think that's been the trickiest part for me.
The foxtrot, cha-cha-cha, waltz, swing, and salsa were the dances that the couples were performing that night. Jonna Lunt, that works in the math department, Andrew Finlandson, who is Mr. SUU, Naomi Wyatt, who is President Wyatt's daughter, and Kiana Johnson, who is on the women's basketball team, were the other dancing competitors. Naomi Wyatt explains how excited she was when she was asked to participate.
I didn't think I would be asked to do something like this, so it was really exciting when I got asked because it was an opportunity that I didn't think I'd ever have.
The turnout was over 100 people coming to support their family and friends. Casey Bounds said this after he took first place: "The competition was hard and practicing was even harder, but it was totally worth all the effort in the end." Chapman over the Ballroom Dance Company pulled off a spectacular night with all of the people dancing in the competition and all of the people sitting in the audience having an amazing time. Thank you very much for joining us here on SUTV News. I'm Colton Warren.
Southern Utah University is welcoming a new tradition to campus after their first annual drag brunch. SUU Center for Diversity and Inclusion hosted the brunch on Thursday in the Starlight Room. Tickets were sold in advance to individual students as well as to several campus organizations. Groups in attendance included the ACES, Women and Gender Studies, SUUSA, and President Wyatt's office. The highlight of the event was a performance from Cerulia, a drag queen visiting SUU from Tallahassee, Florida. The event continued with 2 student drag performances who performed in front of the audience, as well as a panel of judges from the CDI. The audience clapped and cheered to the performances, and almost every seat was filled.
Founding father Thomas Jefferson believed that the United States should have a primarily agricultural economy, focusing on the idea that hard work and individualism would lead to prosperity. It appears that President Trump agrees. On the 18th, Vice President Mike Pence spoke about farmers in America using the words of President Trump.
As President Trump has said, our nation was founded by farmers, our independence was won by farmers, our continent was tamed by farmers, our armies have been fed by farmers and made of farmers, and throughout our history, farmers have always led the way, and farmers will always lead the way in America.
The United States is having a national conversation about gun control ever since the shooting in Parkland, Florida, and that conversation took center stage over the weekend. Our reporter Grace Jules shows us how Cedar City got involved.
Cedar City residents took to the streets Saturday morning.
People who say they actually support the Second Amendment, I don't think they actually do.
Marching in remembrance of victims of gun violence and in support of gun reform.
A lot of people want to focus a lot on remembering and mourning for the people who've died, and I think that's really important. But it's also important to figure out what we're going to do to help decrease the amount of people who die in the future.
The march was organized by the SUU Human Rights Advocates Club and Action Iron County, a nonprofit community activism organization.
I think it's important for young people to feel empowered, for them to feel like their voice will be heard, and that in this country we will have people who will support them and empower them.
Over 100 people came to the march, most, but not all, in favor of stronger gun legislation.
It's our constitutional right. It's our God-given right to defend ourselves, protect our homes, our families.
The rest of the marchers, however, were adamant that something needs to be done.
I mean, maybe the Second Amendment is well regulated for the 1800s, but we're in 2017 and people are dying.
In their homes, at the park. The march ended here on the Library Plaza, where students and community members were given the chance to express their thoughts and concerns about gun control and reform. For SUTV News, I'm Grace Schultz.
Adlib.
What did you guys do over your weekend?
I went up to West Valley and got training. A company I got dragged into, but I hear you got a truck.
I want to talk more about you, man. This is more
They
about
fed me
you.
free food.
So, is this a career opportunity going on here? No.
No.
What kind of company is it?
It's one of those door-to-door ones.
Oh no.
Okay.
Summer sales.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
all right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck there. Oh, yeah, but I did buy a truck over the weekend. It's a 2010 Nissan Titan.
Oh, those look
nice. Japanese
got
truck.
some nice rims on it. It's got some nice rims on it. It was a hectic weekend because, the funds had to be here in this bank when me and my wife have like 3 banks in between us, and we had to bank jump when we were up in Salt Lake. So
oh no.
It was kind of hectic, but when we finally found the right bank with all the funds, everything worked out perfectly. So yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Matthew House.
I'm Colton Warren.
I'm Fernando Lopez.
And I'm Jenna Chapman. Make sure to tune in on Thursday for the other show.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me. I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one. It's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes in your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think, then? Arm or the butt?